Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We about died right there, too. Hello, race fans, and welcome back to the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today, we've got the Spanish Grand Prix coming off the heels of a fantastic Dutch Grand Prix in the last episode. If you missed that one, I'll put a link to that in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Definitely recommend you go back and give that a watch before you watch this one. We got a great finish in that race, 8th place, with very worn-out engine components. You see there with the worn components warning on the screen. We will be addressing that before we head out to Catalunya. But we matched our season best finish of 8th, got 4 more points. So I was very encouraged by that. We had a car that was failing parts left and right. It seemed like our engineer, Jeff, kept telling us bad news, seemingly lap after lap of this component going bad, that component going bad. But we struggled. We fought, and we soldiered home to an 8th place finish. Had a fantastic battle with Sainz and Perez throughout much of that event. A couple of daring passes with Perez and some contact, but we brought it home in 8th, and I felt pretty good about that. So we look at the week ahead. We only have a couple of days to work with before the Spanish Grand Prix. So let's take a look at our activities. We only have 2 days, really, to work with, so we really get to choose one activity would look like. So we got a reaction training for our second driver, Juan Manuel. Yeah, that's his name. I put so little time and effort into him, I don't even know his name at this point. Juan Manuel Correa. We haven't put anything into him, and he hasn't been performing, so I guess that makes sense. Aero Team Building Sponsor Event Fundraiser. We get 100 acclaim for $5,000. I'm all about the acclaim at this point. That's where I've been focusing every time we get activities. So I'm going to go with the sponsor event. Fundraiser is going to cost us $5,000. Not a big deal, drop in the bucket for us, but the 100 acclaim certainly is nice to get. So that'll be our activity that we do for the few days that we have before we go to Spain. Let's look at our facilities. You can see we are Spec 1 on aero, chassis, and powertrain. Haven't done an upgrade yet on the other 3 departments. And really thinking about things, when we look at our departments, our chassis is our worst department. Powertrain is the best, aero, durability, and then chassis. So we've done the least amount of upgrades in our chassis department. We've been doing a lot of aero upgrades that have been adding downforce. But when you add downforce, you increase your drag. So I've been trying to take some drag out of it, but also if we can make the chassis lighter, that'll help us as well. The engine pull the car down the straightaways. And we saw that in the Dutch Grand Prix a little bit, but again, the engine was so worn, I don't know how much of it was drag and how much of it was just an engine that was struggling to produce power. But from what I see, the chassis department needs a little bit of love. So I would like to put a little upgrade into our chassis department. Now, we've got one chassis upgrade going that won't be available until after the Spanish Grand Prix. So for the time being, we've already done one upgrade for build time. I can either upgrade the fabrication so we can do simultaneous upgrades so I can get a second upgrade going, or resource point generation, which we did in our aero, I believe. Yeah, we did that for our aero department last time, or our powertrain rather, last time. So it's really between fabrication or resource point generation for me. I'd like to get a second chassis upgrade going while we have this one going. Since we're not going to get it anyways, we might as well get 2 going. So that's where I'm going to upgrade, so we can do simultaneous upgrades in the chassis department. $2.5 million. We got $2.62 million. So this is a big one right here, but I think it'll help us out quite a bit. All right, moving on from there, like I said, now that we've unlocked the ability to do simultaneous upgrades, I think we need to roll time forward before that'll take effect. But when we do, we'll have the ability to start this improved energy storage cells upgrade in the chassis department as well. So let's do that. Let's roll time forward, and we'll get to that point. All right, so we rolled time forward. We got everything in place there. We still can't do this upgrade, so perhaps it's... Gosh, I guess I should have looked to see when it went into effect. May 9th. What's today? The 7th. So it won't go into effect until after this race weekend anyways. That's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. We'll be able to save some resource points, but that's where we're going to put it. When we get the ability to do so, we'll go into the R&D tree and do this improved energy store cells upgrade. So we'll have those 2 going to help out the chassis a little bit, catch up to all the other departments. All right, so as I talked about in the Dutch Grand Prix, we had some very worn out power unit components, 4 of them to be exact. So I don't want to deal with that anymore, especially in Spain. That long front straightaway, got to have good power. So we're going to apply new components to the internal combustion engine. No penalty for this action, so we won't have to take any grid penalties, which is good. And we'll be back to full power. So we'll do 2s across the board for these worn components, and that'll be good to go right there. The energy store is still fine, not even halfway worn. The control electronics is a little past halfway, but I think we'll be okay there. Gearbox-wise, we're on our first gearbox, of course. You got to go 6 races on a gearbox before you take grid penalties. This thing's only 64% worn, so we can definitely get one more race in, which we will do in Spain, and we'll be able to take a brand new gearbox for the race after that without any penalties, so that's good to see. Last but not least, let's take a look at the driver standings. Lewis Hamilton by 5 points over Vettel. Verstappen right there as well with Bottas, so pretty close fight. Only 11 points separate the top 4. That's a little bit of a fall off behind them, but we sit in the 11th position with 8 points based on our 2 8th-place finishes, and we sit 6th in the constructors' standings on top of Racing Point. Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri both scored their first points of the season last time out in Zandvoort, so it's starting to form up, but I think that's the goal. I think 6th in the constructor standings is where we can really shoot to be. We had a great battle with the Racing Point in the last race. We battled with the McLarens as well, so we're kind of right in that mid-pack, just off the mid-pack, I would say, but we're getting closer. And finally, let's take a look at the overall performance chart. Mercedes atop everybody, as expected. Red Bull and Ferrari pretty close there to each other around that 600 line. Pretty good gap back to the mid-pack, but look at Alfa Romeo. Look at the progress they have made to catch Racing Point, McLaren, and Renault and really join that mid-pack fight. So now it's those 4 cars that are really, really close together above that 500 line. We're right on top of AlphaTauri and Haas, all 3 of us together. AlphaTauri has not made an upgrade in a few race weekends, so perhaps they are saving up for a big, major upgrade. Remains to be seen, but all 3 of us are pretty close together, and then Williams still way down at the bottom. Poor Williams. Man, oh man. They'll catch up at some point, right? All right, well, that is all the administrative stuff for this weekend. Not a lot of time to work with, but we spent some money. We got to be careful with that. We're down to $124,000, but we're making the upgrades, and we'll put some more R&D into the chassis side of things to get that department caught up. But that's all going to have to come after the Spanish Grand Prix, because that's what's coming up next. So let's go see if we can go out there and score some more points.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Albon, Sainz, Perez, Ocon and Daniel Kvyat, Davidson, Stroll, Pierre Gasly and Ricciardo, Magnussen, Norris, Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi, Correa, Latifi, Grosjean and George Russell ends our grid lineup. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
All right, welcome to the grid here in Spain. As you saw in the grid rundown, we just barely missed out on making Q3. It was like 100th difference between me and 10th place. We were really, really strong. The cars felt great throughout all the practice programs. Mock qualifying runs, we were really, really good. So good, in fact, that I moved the AI slider up to 100. So a pretty big move there, just because I felt like we were too fast for what our car actually is. So as I've said before, that difficulty slider is going to be dynamic based off what I see in practice and qualifying. And if I feel like we're way above where we should be, because remember, we're only the second worst car on the grid. So only Williams is worse than we are. So we should not be outpacing McLaren and Renault and Racing Point. We should not be outpacing those guys unless, I put down just a really good lap or something goofy happens. So made it a little bit more challenging from an AI slider perspective. We'll see how it works out here in the race. But in any event, we're starting 11th. So that gives us, freedom of tire choice, really, to start on the mediums, which is going to be great. So let's take a look at the race strategy here. Going to be a one-stopper. And if we look at the personalized strategy, I think that's what we'll do. Leave the fuel load right about there. So it's going to be a one-stopper. We'll do 15 laps on the mediums, 18 laps on the hards to round it out. You look at the weather forecast up above. Sunny throughout the Grand Prix. Maybe a chance of clouds later towards the end, but no threat of rain. So it's just going to be us, the car, and the dry, trying to beat and bang with some of these guys. But hopefully minimal beat and bang, and hopefully all of our components hold up. Now, there is a threat of failure with our gearbox. I changed over all the components for our engine, and I looked at the gearbox, and it was in the mid-60s from a wear percentage. We need to make it through one more race on this gearbox without taking a grid penalty. So I'm taking the risk of running this race on that gearbox. Put a lot of laps in practice to get this thing dialed in. So there's a chance we might have a failure with the gearbox in this race. I hope it doesn't deter a good run, but I guess that's part of it. We'll see what happens here. Let's get this thing underway and have some fun in Spain. What do you say? All right, here we go. 5 red lights. And away we go. Get a good run up the inside here. ERS deployed. Cheeky move here. 3 wide into 1. A lot of contact. All right, that was a pretty aggressive move. I'm not going to lie. Around the outside of Kvyat here. We'll hold on to 9th. That was a lot of stuff going on there. I did see a yellow flag fly briefly for that corner. We really sent it in deep, but I got to get aggressive on these starts. It's a good opportunity for us to pick up spots. So they may not like it, but you know what? That's just what we got to do. We nearly lost it ourselves in turn 1. Lucky to save the car. We were really out of shape. So sort of a sloppy start, but that puts us up into the 9th position. Looking at the back of Ocon here. Got Kvyat behind us. All right, so there you go. In and amongst these guys on soft compound tires as well. I'm really worried about this gearbox. I really gave it a hell of a workout in the practice sessions. Speaking of practice sessions, my teammate, Juan Manuel Correa, he hardly ran any laps. I don't even think he went out for Q2 or Q3. I don't think he made any laps. In practice 1 or practice. What the hell am I trying to say? Reboot the brain. My teammate did not make any laps in free practice 2 or 3 is what I am attempting to say. Run a little wide there. Open the door for Kvyat. He had a look. We hold him off. That's why I don't talk a lot when I drive. I make too many mistakes. But yeah, our teammate did not go out in free practice 2 or 3. So really didn't make a whole lot of laps. I don't know why he didn't. So he only made laps in free practice 1. So I'm worried that we're not going to hit our sponsor goals for laps made during the weekend to hit 70. This is a 33-lap race, so if we both go the full distance, it's 66. So hopefully we both go the distance, and then I'll feel a little bit better about it. I probably did 15 laps in practice and qualifying, so I think we'll be all right. It was just really weird to see the Correa not go out at all in free practice 2 or 3. And, you know, unsurprisingly, he didn't make it out of Q1. A little too much curb there, jeez. Can't afford any mistakes, man. We saw in the last episode how a mistake cost me at the Dutch Grand Prix. We should have finished 7th. We finished 8th instead because I ate too much of that inside curb. Got to be careful with that. Can't afford those mistakes. All right, looks like we got some people hitting the pits right here. Couple of people pitting. One in front of us, a couple behind us.
Some information on Verstappen. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Uh-oh. Problems for Verstappen. He's Verstappen on the track, probably. That's a bad joke. Wonder what's wrong with Max, but that's a free spot for us if we can take advantage of that if he does slow down or is out of this race. All right, we had some more people hit pit road. Stroll with a late dive in. We left him a lane. I wasn't going to leave him a lot of room. He had a look. I think we made slight contact. All right, more people pitting in front of us. Looks like Leclerc and Bottas. I'll put us up to 4th for the time being. We're about halfway to our pit stop. Gotta keep taking care of this thing. I think we're good enough to fight for points today. Feels like it. We can outpace Stroll pretty well. I just gotta not make a mockery of this. As the tire wear starts to fall off, or the tire grip starts to fall off, rather, as the tires wear. No mistakes. Stroll not in DRS range this lap, so that's good. We can save some battery. Not have to worry about deploying it here. You know, for whatever problems Verstappen was having, seems to be fine. Big gap ahead to Albon. The top 3 are just gone. Has to be expected. Growing that gap a little bit over Stroll. Now it's up to 2 seconds, so that's good. We're legitimately outpacing the racing point, which is good. If I'm going to eat shit around this track at some place, it's going to be that inside curb in turn 1 and 2. I need to stop touching that thing.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
They already have, Jeff. Thing's slippery. It's really slippery in the 3rd sector up here. It's really slippery up here. That's where I feel it the most. Oh my God. See? I said if I was going to eat shit around this track somewhere, it's going to be in the inside of that turn. And I about did it. What a save. Oh my God.
You've lost access to one of the gears. We've lost one of the gears due to a fault.
Great. Just as I feared. Remember I said I had worries about this gearbox? There you go. Now we've lost one of our gears. Looks like we lost 5th gear. Now there's a chance it comes back. I've seen in the F1 game, sometimes it comes back. For right now, we don't have 5th gear, which isn't the worst gear to lose. We're lucky to still have a car at this point after the save I had to make and won. We didn't lose a whole lot of time to Stroll. He gained back about 0.3 on us, which I guess we're fortunate. There we go.
Right, we've looked at the gearbox issue, but I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. Try and drive around it. We'll just have to hope for the best. Remember that you have a lot of torque in these power units, so you should be able to stay in higher gears for a lot of the lap.
We'll be taking a new gearbox in the next race. Don't worry. Oh, 5th gear's back. All right. Well, it's not all doom and gloom if 5th gear is back. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We about died right there, too. This thing's getting slippery. That's 2. Third time's the charm. We're still holding on to this gap over Stroll, despite me trying to throw it away with mistakes. I really hope this gearbox will hold together for the rest of this Grand Prix. We need it to stick together for 20 laps. And despite all that drama, we are still in the 4th position right now. So, all things considered, not too bad. There's no way these guys are a one-stopper. They're going to have to do a second stop, right? I don't know. They're on hards. They might be trying to go the whole rest of the way on hards. Albon can make it. I don't know if Hamilton can. I think Hamilton came out on softs. I don't remember. I love the strategies, though. I absolutely love the strategies.
Gap to car in front is 2.4 seconds.
All right, this is our in lap here. Let's make it count. 3-second gap over Magnussen now. I imagine Stroll pitted. Bottas behind Magnussen. I think this will be good. We got a nice clean track for a good clean in lap here. Try and nail pit road entry. Pit road entry is a little bit tricky. Got to be careful. Yeah, I kind of underdrove it a little bit, but again, rather be safe than sorry. Magnussen pit behind us, Giovinazzi pit with us as well. We should have a nice clear entry out of here. We shouldn't be held. Uh-oh, Correa's in the pits too.
Coming in for his stop.
Go, boys, go.
Go, go. You'll be
2.4. Okay.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
Nice job, boys. Lost a little bit of time to Magnussen behind us. That was just my tentative pit road entry and a little bit slower pit stop than I would have liked to see. That's okay. All right, Kvyat 3 seconds up the road. Perez right there with them. They're on mediums. There's no way they're going to the end of the race on those tires. Right? They didn't start on hards. You have to use hards and mediums in this race.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tires need to last till the end of the race.
I think they have one more pit stop to make.
Currently P11, we're currently P11. Kvyat ahead. They're on old mediums. Magnussen is behind you. The gap behind us is 2.3 seconds. They're on fresh hards. The distance to the leader is 43.1 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
There you have it. There's your mid-race update as we saw Kvyat just head down pit road. That answered that question and puts us back up into 10th. We're 5 seconds behind Ocon and Perez. K-Mag's about 2 seconds back. Ricciardo 2.5 seconds back. There's Perez on pit road. Others on pit road as well. There's Vettel in front of us. He's on fresh hards to go to the end. I'm sure we'll watch him drive away here. Become a little red dots. More takers on pit road. Saw a Renault and a McLaren on pit road there. Those two-stop guys. That puts us up into P7.
Okay, gap ahead is 3.5 seconds.
Use some battery to get away from Magnussen here. Pretty sure he's got DRS.
We're leading our teammate by 21.7 seconds.
Just trying to keep some of the pressure off here. Make him use his battery to get us. Also trying to take care of this damn transmission, gearbox. Not be too hard on it. Don't want to have a failure before the end of this race. That would really be heartbreaking. We're in a good spot here in 7th. Again, kind of overachieving for where we should be. I'm going to fight these guys as hard as I can.
You're pushing too hard. It's causing your gearbox to take increased wear.
Shut up, Jeff. I already lost 5th gear once this race. You think I don't know that? Jeez. Come on. I mean, what would you have me do, Jeff? Pull over? Stop? Let these guys go? I don't think so. Last time I checked, this is my team. If I'll run this car into the ground, that's my choice. But I'm here for points. All right, 10 laps to go. Can we hold on? Against all the odds. Failing gearbox, hard tires, piece of shit car. I shouldn't say that. The car's been great. So far, we're able to keep Magnussen at bay, using a little bit of battery here and there, but he hasn't been able to gain on us, so that's good. Not to a point where he can make a move. Well, he gains on us through that first sector right there pretty good. I just can't get through those corners too well.
14.1 seconds.
Trying to be smart with my battery deployment here. Keep something in the tank for the end of this race, just in case it gets really, really close. What a battle this is. What a battle between me and Magnussen to keep him out of our striking area. He's getting DRS every lap. We're just deploying enough battery to keep him at bay. He's got Ricardo behind him, so Ricardo's getting DRS off of him. So it all works out really well, I would say, for us. Got to save a little bit of fuel, too. We're a little bit of a fuel deficit. Not a big one. We'll manage that. That's easy. Just keep doing the same thing lap after lap. Just stay in front of them by enough, and then hit the battery on the front stretch to keep that gap at about 7 to 8 tenths. That's all we need to do. We lost 2nd gear. That was an unexpected surprise. Rear end just kicked out on me when we lost 2nd gear.
No need to worry about tire condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Jeff, we lost 2nd gear, brother. We're in deep shit now. We need 2nd gear to get through those corners. This is not good. This is not good. We hold off Magnussen for now, but that is not good. Again, lucky to save the car because it went from 3rd down to 1st. Nearly wrecked it.
A mechanical issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
No shit, Jeff. Welcome to a fucking lap ago. Gotta go full rich mix and full battery here just to keep the gap on Magnussen. 2 laps to go. Yellow flag somewhere behind us. Something happened back there. Oh, Lance Stroll's out. Contact. Lance Stroll is out of this thing right at the end. Unfortunate for him. We're still fighting hard here to hold on to 7th. Meanwhile, Bottas is just setting fast lap after fast lap, showing off. All right, last lap. Give it everything we got here.
Lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 34.0 seconds.
Verstappen's won. Good for him. Got Ricardo and Magnussen going at it behind us. Now Ricardo's in 8th. Oh, we got 2nd gear back. We're going to do it. New season best. 7th place, baby. Let's go. Woo! I don't give a damn about the gearbox. We don't need it. Oh, my God. What a fight. Driver of the day, Daniel Ricciardo. Why not me?
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then after a quality performance. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
All right, to take a look at the final results here. Max Verstappen, as you saw, gets the win. Starts from the 5th position and gets the win. Nice drive for him. One-stop strategy. Beats out the two-stop strategy of Hamilton, who finished 5.5 seconds back. Albon third. So Red Bull with 2 cars on the podium. Nice job for them. After coming from the 3rd row of the grid. Bottas, two-stopper as well, along with Leclerc and Vettel. So interesting. 2 out of the top 6 only did a one-stopper. Or I guess 4 out of the top 6 did a two-stopper is the better way to look at it. So interesting, all the strategy. I love that part of it. The strategy is just really keeps it interesting. So good job there. We get 7th, our best finish of the season after starting 11th. 6 big points for us. Ricciardo, Magnussen, Gasly finish in the points. Norris, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, Perez, Ocon, Kvyat, Russell, Latifi, our teammate Juan Mel Correa. Why do I keep calling him Mel? Juan Manuel Correa. I'm over him. He's in 20th. Grosjean and Stroll. Neither of them saw the end of this race. I think there was an incident behind us with Stroll. Maybe Grosjean was the other car involved, but handful of cars get lapped. I don't know what we're going to do with our teammate here. I'll have to figure that one out, but he just sucks. Like, what else am I going to say? He just sucks. I don't know what else to say. So McLaren doesn't finish in the points. Racing Point doesn't finish in the points. Renault gets 1 car into the points. Haas gets a car into the points. AlphaTauri gets a car into the points. So I think that's the first point of the season for Haas. Cool stuff. But P7 for us, great job all around. And again, that was with a fucked up gearbox, a slightly broken front wing that I saw when I was getting the thumbnail, and the AI turned up to 100. So all in all, pretty solid race. All right, rivalry breakdown. We gained another 2 over Grosjean. So the rivalry's going really well. 4 races left. We got a healthy lead on him. So that's good. Let's take a look at the acclaim. We're up to halfway on our 5, and so is Correa. As a team, we jumped up to a 7, a little past halfway on 7. So we're gaining ground there. And finally, how'd we do on money? Completed our sponsor goals, $272,000 in bonuses there, on top of our regular race payouts of $100,000. No damage. So we jump back up over $1 million, which is good. So we made like $1 million this weekend. We needed that after spending that money for our facilities upgrade for Aero.
Morning, boss. This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Outstanding. I would certainly hope so. With an accountant running this team, we better be in the black. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's the Spanish Grand Prix. A great race for us. We've got problems with the car. The gearbox really tried to let us down twice in this race. We lost 5th gear at one point. Then we lost 2nd gear at another point later in the race. But we persevered. We pulled through, and we brought it home with our best finish of the season. We got some work to do. We got a warning here, low cash. You don't have enough cash to afford your teammates' contract renewal. We don't have to worry about for that a little bit. We still got some time before we have to worry about it. I'm not sure we're going to renew him anyways. Let me know down in the comments below what you think I should do with this teammate, Juan Manuel Correa. He's done bupkis for us so far this season. Hasn't really contributed much to the team. Granted, we haven't really gave him a whole lot as far as development, but he came in with decent stats, and he just hasn't really done much with the car. So I'm open to your suggestions. We'll take a look at the driver market next time out, perhaps, and see who might be out there. But this is just preliminary stuff. So let me know if you think we should retain him, if we should look to move on from him. But other than that, I think we need to save a little bit of money. We don't have much to spend right now anyways. But you see there on the calendar, we got some upgrades, hopefully, that are going to roll through soon. before we go to Monaco. Boy, oh boy. You thought you'd seen great races. Now we've got Monaco next. Of course, Monaco, very special. Challenging racetrack. Should be a lot of fun for us, hopefully. So we'll bring this episode to an end here. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know by leaving a thumbs up on it, leaving a comment down below, giving me your thoughts on the Spanish Grand Prix. More durability problems, our gearbox. We knew it might be an issue, and it definitely was. We'll get that thing swapped out, have a good new gearbox for Monaco. No grid penalties. Everything else should be fine. Some scary moments, but we got through it. 7th place, more points. Really pleased with that. But that'll be the end of this episode. If you want to connect with me on social media, @Schildhouse is the best way to do that. You can do so on Instagram or on Twitter. And, of course, you can always find me streaming live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Schildhouse. That's it. We're done. We'll see you next time in Monaco. Appreciate you watching this episode.